Hey, Buddy Manning here. Half court, TD Garden, Celtics, 76ers. It was a big one tonight. Both teams coming in shorthanded, knowing that they were going to be playing their best players 35 to 40 minutes. Two 500 teams in the middle of the Eastern Conference that knew this game probably was going to have big implications when it comes down to the final standings this season. And Philadelphia does win 108-103. They go on an 18-4 run in the final few minutes of this one, and Joel Embiid scored at will. 3 big jumpers from 15 to 20 feet, including a ridiculous fadeaway in that corner over there, left corner, fading away just short of the three-point line. Help coming a little too late for Ennis Freedom in that corner, who defended Embiid admirably throughout this one. Fouls 5 times, doesn't foul out, playing upwards of 40 minutes, shadowing Joel Embiid. They threw doubles at him early in the fourth with the likes of Payton Pritchard, who helped force 4 turnovers on Embiid in the early portion of the quarter. At that point, I'm looking at Embiid and I'm saying, is this guy tired? Is he running out of gas again as he pushes toward 40 minutes? But just past that 40-minute mark, he hits that final of 3 big jump shots down the stretch that decided this one. Celtics, meanwhile, turning it over on the offensive end. Jaylen Brown getting the ball time, 30 points in this one in crunch time, going with the hot hand to draw in Philly's defense and help free up Jayson Tatum a little bit. Tatum struggled in this one, scoring 17 points inefficiently. Brown, too, I believe, finished 9 of 22. So it wasn't a very efficient night, especially shooting for the Celtics. Missed a ton of threes early, late. Couldn't get the baskets down the stretch of this game and missed key free throws as well. In a game that's going to have implications for sure. I don't know what it's going to be, but these two teams will probably end up finishing close to each other down the stretch here. Ime Udoka talking afterward about rotations that I thought got a little bit rigid. I talked about Pritchard turning Tatum or turning Embiid over a couple times in the early portion of the fourth quarter. He played right up until about the 2-minute mark in this one. Hit a couple key shots dueling with Seth Curry early in the fourth quarter. But Ime went away from him, went with Romeo Langford in those final few minutes. I thought in terms of having a guy that can help Jaylen out a little bit on the ball as he moved his feet a little too much on the travel call and got stripped on another play. That's a ball handler. Maybe not the best pick and roll defender in the world, but a facilitator who can help calm down the offense, support Brown in those spots where he had turnovers down the stretch of this game, make some shots off the ball. I didn't see the upside of Romeo being out there, especially once Thibault fouled out. And even with Thibault in there, that's a guy you can hide Pritchard on. And Pritchard, to his credit, forced those turnovers on Embiid. Even when he switched on to Embiid, he forced that turnover when Embiid threw the ball out of bounds there. I thought Ime just a little rigid with his rotations in this one. Here he was talking about maybe some of the other directions that they could have gone against Embiid in there.
What were your options against Embiid? I mean, obviously Robert was a late scratch, no Al. You just kind of went with Ennis. Did you contemplate any other combinations there?
Yeah, I mean, Bruno would be the other one as far as the standpoint from a big. And then you can always go extra small. You don't love that with him, but take it out of his hands and then take the risk of some of the other guys getting loose, all the three-point shooters around him. So, we were, to some extent, defending him okay. He's taking some tough twos. We didn't love some of the first half clips where he had the ball with no bodies there, just, him and Ennis one-on-one. So we showed that at halftime, and I think we cleaned that up and started getting more aggressive on him. But we were, once we got Curry under control, I think we felt good about where we were at. Obviously, we had 6-8 point lead there. 7-point lead was our biggest. And so we were kind of living with him taking those tough shots and kind of keeping everybody else under control. And then he got going at the end, and we tried to take it out of his hands and didn't do a great job there.
So Bruno did get that one rotation in there where he blocked a shot, weak side, chased another guy down, blocked from behind. Tough call there, foul on Tobias Harris. I thought there were 6 or 7 calls in this game, including a hop step by Embiid in the second half there. That would have been his 5th turnover to start the fourth quarter. And the Tatum charge on Thibault, that probably should have been Thibault's 6th foul right there. Same play by Smart ends up fouling Thibault out of the game, so a little inconsistent in that regard. A block inside by Schroeder on Curry. I can go on and on from this one of rough calls that went against the Celtics. I'm sure there were some others too. They had to challenge that play where Embiid just tossed it out of bounds. So for the first time in a while, I felt like the Celtics got a tough whistle. wasn't the reason that they lost this game, but it was certainly one of the factors that went into it. You got to win this one. Jaylen said it after. There were a couple different things that the Celtics, if they just locked in on, they would have had a win here, up 107-100. Philly, of course, staring this game down with a bunch of different guys out of their rotation. They really only had 3 guys that you had to key in on this one, and Embiid went off down the stretch. Jaylen, though, saying the single coverage hurt them early. Ime with the second guessing there of blitzes and rotations going too slow off of him. There were certainly some things the Celtics could have done better defensively in this one down the stretch to shore it up, but offense I thought was the difference. It was good to get Brown those reps on the ball. He needs those opportunities, but ultimately he didn't come through with the travel and the loose ball there, and even that botched play when they got another chance down 4. Smart throwing it right to Embiid, really letting the 76ers get set there. Just a bunch of disappointing things. But if you're Philadelphia coming into this one, you have 7-8 guys missing, and one of them's Ben Simmons. So Doc asked a bunch of times throughout the season about Ben Simmons, his status, what they're thinking about him. For the first time, he usually just deflects and says, I'm letting Morey handle that. There was kind of an alarm being sounded by Doc in this spot for the first time about needing either Simmons or something else in that spot. Here's what he said.
Yeah, we don't know what we are yet. Ben hasn't played in a game. You can see the glaring holes that he leaves us. And he may or may not play. And if he does, great. If he doesn't, then whenever we can help us. But we don't know what any of those factors are. And so right now we're just playing games, trying to win.
So I've been consistent about this all year. I think calling for Simmons to come back, as I think is an underlying motive of this whole approach Morey's taking here, waiting Simmons out, getting that trade deadline if they don't get a perfect deal, and then knowing for the rest of the season that Simmons can't be moved after that. Maybe that lures Simmons back after that. You heard Doc apologizing, walking back his comments earlier in the year, Embiid as well. This public campaign to get Simmons back that failed terribly with the phone in his pocket, getting kicked out of practice for refusing to do a drill. And he doesn't even want to be around the team right now, and it's been fairly easy for him to stay away, even through fines and the other things that Philly's thrown at him through this whole process to try to get him to come back. He's not coming back, and to be honest, 1 or 2 years ago, that's when you should have traded Simmons, when the value was high, when you could have gotten James Harden for him. That's in the past now. Now you have to take what's available. When you have Joel Embiid scoring 41 points here, you had a chance to get Malcolm Brogdon. That could have been a great point guard option for Philly alongside Embiid, even if it isn't premium return on Simmons. You could definitely get Jeremy Grant right now, out 6 weeks with a thumb injury. A guy who started his career in Philadelphia and has grown into an exceptional off-ball scorer, shooter, and one of the better defensive 3-4s in the league that's out there right now. And Detroit, great place for Simmons to restart his career alongside Cade Cunningham and the array of young guys and picks that they're going to have going forward there. I think that deal is perfect right now for Philadelphia. They can do it today. What else? Can you go get some pieces from Sacramento? Doc finally sounding the alarm on this and saying something like that pregame makes me think that for the first time this season, a chance off these G League meetings, summit out in Las Vegas, where a bunch of GMs and scouts and all kinds of people are congregated, that there could be something done in the near future here on this. Of course, most players became trade eligible in the NBA last week. So I'm looking for something to happen with Simmons here on a team in Philadelphia that's stuck in the middle here. An injury, they could potentially fall into the play-in game and lose their season in a game or two if things break the wrong way at that point. You can't have that happen when you have an MVP caliber player like Embiid, who's been hurt in the past, who's probably going to age a little faster than other stars. And this is a year where if you get the right pieces next to him, you could win a championship here. So stop messing around with the Simmons stuff. Get it done so we don't have to talk about it any longer either here on the Garden Report and other programming. Speaking of that G League Summit, going forward, we're certainly going to see a ton of players moving in and out of teams. For the Celtics, it was Justin Jackson and C.J. Miles. Haven't heard that name in forever. Couldn't believe the Celtics brought him back, the 15-year veteran. Sean Grandy points out, too, one of 4 players in the league from that high school era where players came right out of high school, the NBA. It stinks you couldn't get Luke Cornett, even for a game like this. He played well in this matchup last year. He played well for the Celtics for certain stints last year. They keep him in Maine toward a situation like this, and he gets swooped up by Cleveland, who's going to be in here on Wednesday. Juwan Morgan goes to Toronto. And Theo Pinson, the leading scorer on that Maine Celtics team that started 9-1. They were doing something right down there. He is in Dallas now. So give those guys credit. It's great that a bunch of players are getting this opportunity to make $500,000 for playing a couple games like Isaiah Thomas and others. You just wish if the Celtics liked or wanted to do it, that they had first priority on some of their affiliate guys. There's a reason they brought them into camp and funneled them down to that minor league team. You want this to work like a minor league system. Can you imagine in baseball if teams were just picking up players from other minor league teams whenever they had injuries or illness or anything like that? It's just crazy what's going on. And Ime actually talked about it pregame, just how difficult it is with all the demand for G League players right now with this new rule in the NBA that you have to pick up replacement players if someone test positive for COVID. 2 players, you got to pick up 1. 3 players, you got to pick up 2, and on and on and on here. Celtics have 7 in COVID protocols, and they've only been able to sign so far Justin Jackson out of the Dallas system and C.J. Miles out of G League Ignite.
This is very different. Obviously, the guidelines by the league allowing guys to come in and not affect their salary cap. It's almost like replacement players, and we joked about it. Who on our staff is available? We got Garrett Jackson that plays with guys, and Tony Dobbins. We're looking at old film and old pictures of guys, so we're joking about it back there. But I said it. This is the best time ever to be a G League guy or a ex-veteran that's been available because guys are getting snatched up left and right, and it's like who can get them the quickest, who can find the best guy the quickest. And so we've had not only our 2 guys, our 2-way guys that are in the protocol right now, Cornette and Theo Pinson just got grabbed up, and so. Before we could do something there, possibly other teams are snatching people. So I've been through it as a G League player, and this situation would have been ideal back then.
I asked Ime the same question. This is just a unique time. Like every dude who's now 34 and 35 who's been at home for a while is like, hold up, I can get back into the league. Like, let me start working out.
Let me tell you, there with the announcement today, I'm not giving names, but I got a couple of calls like, I can't play anymore. I told one of them, you can't play basketball. Were you talking a round of golf? But yeah, I'm sure. And some of them can play. There's guys who retire, because they just, for whatever reason, now they're looking at it like 10 games and get back in. Yeah.
So there'll certainly be more shuffling going on here. I actually talked to a source out there in Las Vegas at that G League showcase. Those teams, as guys are just pouring out of Vegas, are seeing 7-8 man rosters now, just like the NBA rosters are. Toronto's G League team is actually shut down right now with COVID cases at the showcase. So guys are getting opportunities left and right, and I'd love to take a look inside what their agents are going through right now in terms of teams just blowing up their phones for these guys who would otherwise never really have a chance at getting in the league at all right now. And some of them, like Miles Powell for Philadelphia in this one, are playing real minutes. Celtics haven't gone to their guys yet. Maybe they'll find the right fits and the right opportunity for them going forward. It just is disappointing that you couldn't pull off an Isaiah return. That would have been awesome. Cornette going to be coming in here on Wednesday. I would have loved to have seen him with the Celtics. I said on the postgame show when they signed him to Maine, he would get at least 1 game here in Boston, and he will, but with the wrong team, the Cavaliers, who come down Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, as well as Isaac Okoro. All of them are in protocol. Fundamental personnel for their number 3 defense. So the Celtics will certainly have an opportunity to win that game. We'll be back here with Celtics postgame, CLNS Media, Celtics All Access. I'm Bobby Manning. Of course, support our sponsor, Com. So the last few days leading up to Christmas is going to be a lot of chaos. You're probably going from work to the mall to rapping. It took me a minute there because I don't do much of that. But hectic days coming up over the next month or so here. Give Calm a try. Guided meditations, sleep sounds, lightning, thunder, fans, whatever you like there that helps you get to sleep late at night. LeBron James says sleep is the greatest driver of his successful 19-year run in this league that's pushed into his late 30s here. So get some sleep for your own performance as well, whatever it is. Sleep, mental health, all things that the Calm app can help you with. And you can help CLNS Media by going to calm.com/garden, calm.com/garden, and getting 40% off a premium subscription. Just give it a try. calm.com/garden, 40% off a premium subscription. We will be back here on Wednesday. Check out Dome Theory tomorrow. We're going to have Justin Rowan talking about the Cavaliers, the COVID situation in the NBA, and all the stuff we did here, just more in depth. And take a look at those Cavs, who have been a shoo-in among the top 5-6 teams in the East so far this year, even going through some injuries and turmoil themselves. They're here to stay. And what's the upside for a team like that compared to the Celtics? I'm excited to find out. So I'm Bobby Manning. We will see you on our channel as well as Celtics All Access tomorrow.